All right, here we go, folks. Today is October, October the 1st, 2025, and I had something I was working on. I've actually been working on a lot, and it's starting to get a little bit congested and combobulated. But so again, if you've noticed anything that I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, is that I've been making algorithms and programs to work on the radar screen so it can work over multiple tickers and assets versus and over different asset classes, right? So I've got penny stocks running here. I've got futures set up to do something over here, but there's something going on with the radar screen to where it's not correctly calculating if you have a position on, right? So I'm using a position provider. So let me show you this. And again, this may help you understand what you're doing with your program. And I may have something wrong. So I've put in a request ticket to find out from the TradeStation support team, the Easy Language support team, what's going on. But let's just see what this looks like. So I have an indicator that I call position open for open P&L, and it's for radar screen. So it looks like this. It's just kind of basic. Uh, but what we're doing is we have a once block, we're instantiating and we're initializing the positions provider, and then we're coming down and on every bar we're checking. And now I do have this set as intra-bar calculation, tick by tick. But what we're doing is we're saying that if the data state is loaded, if the data provider is loaded, and we do have a position on, then we're going to plot PL. Plot PL is going to plot our position open P&L, and it's also going to plot the ticks. We are counting the ticks. We're counting them incrementally on each tick. So, and if we are on the chart, then we're just going to print what the P&L is. And if we're not on the chart, then we're going to and so we're on the radar screen, then we're going to plot what the P&L is. Now the chart seems to work fine with the position provider and bringing the information onto the chart by printing it. The radar screen seems to notice that we do have, well, you know, it didn't give us any updated events. So let me show you what I mean. So we've got the futures on ES, NQ, CL, and YM. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to do this. Okay, and I had another simple indicator that would show us if the no. I also made one for a fundamental quotes provider. So when you're working with penny stocks, you want to see that you're working with a penny stock where you know a little bit about the fundamentals. It's not as important as what's going on or whether or not it's a stock in play or a stock in play or a stock of the day. So, but I do want to know what the outstanding shares are. And so I made a script just to show me what the outstanding share amount is. And it looks like this. So essentially, and I know I'm going back and forth, but you got to follow me here because sometimes I move fast. And if you are looking for some information, if you need something a little bit slower or at another level, just put a comment in the on the video, and I can go over something at that pace. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not a professional programmer, nor am I a expert in easy language. See, I'm not even an expert. All right, but so when we're looking at the shares outstanding, we're going to use the fundamental quotes provider here. Okay, and then we go over to the properties and we'll go ahead and fix that, pin that. And so the field for shares outstanding is capital SH shout. We're using the simple fundamental quotes provider and we're making sure that it's loaded. Okay, so now when we're coming over here on each, not even on each bar, but just when we do have a bar where fundamental quotes provider state is loaded, then once we're going to assign this variable, which is intrabar persist, so it can capture You know, even if it's on a tick, which it wouldn't be because this is a once on a bar, but and we're not running this as an inch-bar calculation. But shout is going to be equal to what's in the field of fundamental quotes provider at the double last. Okay, we're only using one field, so for that one field, we're getting the quote, and it's a double. We're assigning it to shout. Okay, so and then we're going to say we're going to print loaded. Now, so this should print loaded when we have a fundamental quotes provider that is loaded, because when this is loaded, we're going to do this block. The problem that I'm finding here is I also went to properties and I did a event handler, FQP updated. FQP updated now is going to say, well, if one of the symbols is Zura, Z-U-R-A, which this is, then we're going to print what the state is to a string. So apparently we're not getting any updated events of our fundamental quotes provider. So let's do one more. Let's do state change. And this might be the one that I was really looking for. Let's copy that, paste that. So now if the symbol is Zura, and I could have just taken this off, taken all this off, but then if I commented that out, I would get a print for each one of these. And I only need to check one of them. So we'll leave that comment in there. Now hit verify. And okay, so here we go. Here's the problem. The fundamental quotes provider failed loading. Now, why did it fail? I don't know. And I don't know if we have any information, if we can get any information about that. Like args, like reason, args, because when you come into the fundamental quotes provider, the state change event, you have args, so you might have some information about this state change, but it doesn't look like we're getting anything for args. Nope. So we don't really have any information. If args, and some of the times this args just won't come up properly. So let's go to the dictionary and we'll check out state change. And we have one for data providers in general. Okay, and then state change, args, it doesn't. Args is the state change event object containing specific data, which like I said, I'm not seeing anything. Well, let's try one more time. Like I said, sometimes it just doesn't show up until you've tried it a couple times. Now, if we go up here and we type in args, nope, nothing up there either. Okay, so I don't know why it failed. And I wonder, well, that's not the problem that we're having with our position here, because the data state is loaded. See, in order for it to do the plot PL, the data state has got to be loaded. And or, well, here, if we have a position provider event and we have a position, let's try one more thing here. If we have a position on, well, if we have a position on, then we know that the position provider is loaded, because that's the only way that we can find out if we have a position on is if we have loaded the position provider. Otherwise, when we get to this place, well, actually, this won't even fire. You won't even have an updated event until the position provider is actually loaded. So, I mean, that's why putting if pp.state equals data state.loaded doesn't necessarily make sense here, because it's already accounted for. All right, and Okay, yeah. So again, the position provider, the data provider is loaded here, but for some reason it's not pulling the right information. It's not updating the right information on radar screen, but on the regular chart it is. Now again, if I'm doing something wrong, then I will come back and do another video and I'll let you know what I figured out that I was doing wrong. But for the meantime, it looks like there's something going on here. And the big problem for me is, again, I want to be able to automate my algos on radar screen across, multiple futures, multiple penny stocks, and then I'll end up having another one that is for options. So I need for this to work. And if it doesn't work, then what I'll have to end up doing is creating a entire workspace that has multiple different windows with Zura and evac, evacs and SPRC and plug. I'll have to do this, and then I'll have to apply an indicator to each individual one. And then if I want to go and apply, say I have an indicator that I have applied here that will place orders. If I want to keep all four of these and then add a new one to the bundle of stocks that are taking orders, well, for the radar screen, I just add it in down here. I just add in GME, right? But if I'm on the workspace, then I have to copy this workspace and then go and paste a new workspace in and then do GME, which I think the idea of having the workspace is so that you can be much more efficient and fluid. And I'm not sure where we're falling a little bit short, but I think that we're falling a little bit short. So anyway, I will update you when I know something more. But this has been an interesting morning for me and afternoon, just trying to figure all this, afternoon of yesterday, trying to figure all this out. So I will catch you guys later. Hopefully we learn something new. Oh, and I have a new computer coming. Windows 10 is going, I don't want to say going bust, but it's being outdated. It's being outdated and replaced, removed by everything AI, right? So my Windows 10 laptop, which it's pretty old anyway, it's a Lenovo. It has done well. I've gotten more than my money's worth, so I went with Lenovo again. This time, instead of going with Intel processor, I'm going with AMD. I understand that it's supposed to be pretty good in terms of working with multi-cores and doing a lot of processing, data processing and that kind of thing. Although it looks like Intel cores are supposed to be really good at single core exercises, if you will. But anyway, I don't know which will work the best, but this will be an interesting experience with a new computer that I can do more programming around the house. And then I'll leave my main desktop workstation in the office because I don't want to be tied down to the office just to do programming. I don't need 4 monitors just to do programming. So get me out of this cubicle. Anyways, guys, hope you got a little something out of this, and there will be more to come, of course. I'm Eric. I'm out. Hey.